This video is sponsored by Wildlife Command Center Coffee. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another One Musician, One CD. And today I have here for the second time Chris Ivan, and we're going to be discussing his brand new CD, which is this right here and right there, right there. And Chris, thank you for being here again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I mean, it's an honor when another person who is in the field wants to take time to talk to you. So I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, hey, you're welcome, and thank you. So when does this CD come out? On My Terms, that's the name of it. When does this officially come out?
So it officially comes out January 1st, 2022. And the merch actually drops the same day. So I have air fresheners, I have t-shirts, I have stickers. Literally, that's everyone who, the side slip is everyone who was added vocals to the instrumental. And I love those people so much, and I wouldn't be here without their support or my family support or my partner's support and his family. And it's just been an honor to kind of grow. And because of me growing, that album had popped out unexpectedly.
Nice. Kind of like an unexpected pregnancy.
Oh, I know.
You were messing around, and now all of a sudden you gave birth to a CD.
Oh, I know. Literally, the first one took 3 years. This one took 3 months. So it's a big.
Wow.
It was a big jump, but I think the second one went faster just because I knew what I was doing this time around. I wasn't learning, and my producer got in so much faster, and I had made so many great connections within the music industry out here in Las Vegas that everyone that is on the album or every producer that touched the remixes like Adam, everyone just had mutual respect for each other and loves each other, and everyone was so excited to be a part of it, and it just happened so quick.
Wow. Yeah. I remember you having to leave, at times from us filming and going and recording. So you were very, very dedicated. So that's yes. Awesome. And the work paid off. So yes. I am curious about a couple pictures in here. So there is you at like a piano.
Yes.
Do you play piano?
I am slowly learning. I know my keys. I know exactly what I need to do to get me in key. But I am learning, and I'm actually learning a lot of instruments right now because that's my passion, and I want to learn how to fall in love with music so much deeper. So I feel like picking up instruments would do that.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And what about guitar there?
So my Aunt Margot, who had passed away, and I dedicated Biggest Battle to her. She was actually an amazing guitar player, and she was actually a church planter, and she had taught me how to sing and play the guitar. And when she passed, I kind of stopped, but slowly I've been getting into it. She didn't teach me how to play perfectly, but I want to learn how to play the guitar in remembrance of her and my music.
Oh, that's nice. That's very nice of you. And you even signed this for me. So I got an early copy of it. So there it is right there. So it proves that I personally know you. You're not just somebody who's on a Zoom call.
I know you are the first person to physically have it.
Wow. Thank you. And this is your first one here. That's your first. And which I enjoyed quite a bit. And it's also, oh, sure, you're welcome. It's also assigned to me right there. So I always keep it in its little plastic so it doesn't get messed up. So one of the things that I found interesting is, so this one is there's your head, and your face is kind of like exploding out with like plants coming out of it.
Yes, yes,
And while on this, and this is biggest battle, and
yes.
but this one, your face is kind of melting up and down. So here you have like plants and nature and stuff. Here you have kind of like your face kind of melting up and melting down. What can you tell me about the covers?
So biggest battle, why my skin is white and black, um, is because I felt like getting to release, or how should I word this? Releasing that album was the biggest battle I had ever taken on in life. And I say that because there were so many unexpected events that had happened that if I sit back and think honestly for anybody, oh, I don't want to get emotional. Some people would have, to be honest, possibly ended their life.
Oh,
And I will not say that I never thought those thoughts creating this album, but I had called it biggest battle because everything it took everything from me to release that album. And it's it's white and black because it's like around me was dark and I was alone, but inside of me I still wanted to speak life. I still wanted to sing um positive things. I wanted people to know that there was still life in me even though what I was going through was tragic. And
okay.
not all of it was tragic. There were some good there's some good things, that a lot of good things that's had came out of it, but sometimes for you to achieve a good thing you have to work for it, and it was a battle.
Okay.
So, and I don't know if you caught, but on my terms, the eyes going up and down, they are still plant life. It's plants, so I still wanted to add
Oh yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. It's like a flower there, and kind of like a fern or something right here.
Yeah, like palm trees, yeah.
Yeah.
So I still wanted to add um like just like flora, like flowers or plants, just because to me when I think of palm trees I think of like something sexy. Like I feel like a lot of palm trees are in Miami, and it just reminds me of like, I know it's weird, but it just reminds me of sex, and flowers remind me of the good times, and like flowers can mean so much. If you give someone a dozen roses, that means that you probably like them or you're interested in them. Or you could give someone a dozen roses at a funeral, and that can mean something completely different. It like the meaning of flowers to me goes so deep. Um, and I wanted to do black and white again. This time has nothing to do with dark or me going through shit. This time, this album is a little bit more masculine. It's me kind of letting people know how I like things in life, and to be exact, in bed or sometimes when I go out. So it's I thought of it as like the green and black glitter side. And I also touched on one of my favorite songs off of Biggest Battle, Black Glitter. On my terms, half of my face is literally covered in black glitter.
Yeah, you kind of got a
Yes.
sneer on it here.
Mm-hmm.
So your lips
Mm-hmm.
are okay there, then a sneer. So is this kind of like
Yes.
the alternate,
Yes.
Chris?
So that is the very sexy, and that is the very dominating, and that is the guy who says, you know what? If I love you, you're about to get this dick.
and,
Yes.
and what's the other side say then? What's this side
The
say?
other side is the fragile side, the kind of sad. And that's why I'm still in shock, because I'm still going through certain things that I thought I was going to get over during the chapter of recording Biggest Battle, and I'm still going through. And I've learned in life, when you think one chapter is closed, sometimes life knocks on the door and is like, hey, did you forget about me? And you kind of still go through what you would say trauma.
All right. And I like the back too. It's kind of got like a paisley type vibe to it there.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Um, and then one last, while we're talking about what, so I could give you all the details first. The reason why I put flowers on the sad part is because some people say, and I have encountered this in my life, sometimes I will get a hint of flowers and I will remember my aunt. And some people say sometimes when someone passes, you could smell flowers, and that's them telling you that they're around.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Because I'm a huge palm tree fan. I love palm trees. If I owned a
I do
house,
too.
they'd be surrounded by palm trees. I
Yes.
also dig flowers. My grandmother, who has passed away, would she had a whole greenhouse of different types of flowers and plants. She belonged to a like a club, and she won like a whole bunch of ribbons and stuff. So I've been around flowers for my whole life, and then of course, living in California, palm trees too.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. I understand what you're doing. So yeah, and I appreciate that. So
No, yeah,
cool.
flowers mean a lot to me.
And so this is now why the title on my terms? Why that?
Why the title of On My Terms? Just because with Biggest Battle, and I love it and I appreciate it, and it has blessed me so much. I feel like sometimes with Biggest Battle, I rush things just to prove that to other people that I was going to make it in life. And it wasn't really on my terms. It was on, let me prove everyone that I'm right and that I will make it. And it took me a while to go back into the studio to work on a new album because I felt like I needed time. And not to shit on Biggest Battle because I love it and the songs are still good. I just On My Terms, like I said, was not planned. It just happened and it happened so fucking fast. And I just felt like it was on my terms to go to the studio. It was on my terms if I wanted to work with somebody. I didn't have other people in my ear telling me, work with this person, do this. And I just felt like as an adult, I've grown and I felt like I needed to do something for myself. And that's why I called it On My Terms, because everything that I'm singing about on this album is possibly going to make people upset. From people that how should I say this? It's possibly going to make people upset that I worked with the people who I worked with Biggest Battle and who helped me and supported me at that time might feel some type of way about the stuff that I'm singing in On My Terms, but I don't give a fuck because I'm living my life unapologetically, and everything that I do from if I go watch a movie super late, or if I eat McDonald's at 3 o'clock in the morning, or if I want to meditate, or if I want to go to a massage, everything in life now is on my terms. I don't really have to ask people for permission. Obviously, if like family and like partners and stuff like that, of course, you know what I mean? I'm not just out here like, oh, fuck everybody, I'm doing all this shit.
Right.
No. But I'm an adult now and I've grown. Like it's been a journey, but I just felt like it it was home when I said on my terms. Like it was like, oh, that's home.
So did you have a lot of people in your ear when you were making this? Like, were there some things on this where you were like, oh man, I shouldn't have listened to that person, or something where you didn't have it on this one? So
Yes,
was this more like this was more like a committee? Well, this was more just you.
no. Well, financially, yes, it was just me on both of them. But I was still around certain people where I had to listen to certain rules and stuff like that. If I'm gonna be quite honest, I mean, if I would not had if I'm being straight up honest, and that's the only way that I want to live my life, I would not have had P-Tone on Genesis, and I would not have had my best friend Kiki on Last Crusade,
Oh, interesting. Okay.
because that was a very bad business move for me.
Interesting. Okay.
Mixing, well, one person doesn't do music, so like I wasn't gaining a new audience, you know what I mean? So like that kind of just didn't work out. And then P-Tone, he was he had released an album, and he was thinking about getting back into music, but he didn't, and it didn't business wise, because I'm a musician too, but I'm also a business person. You know what I mean? That's why people do features, is to bring a new audience to your music and vice versa. And it just was not smart. Um, and lyrics had a huge play in Biggest Battle. Um, there was a lot of songs that I wanted explicit, and um, just people would be in my ear, nag me, and just for the piece of it. At that time, I listened, but then once I had my own apartment, I was paying for everything, I was doing everything. I kind of look back and I was just like, fuck, I gambled who I was just to make them happy.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I love Biggest Battle. I fucking love those songs. I just would have done some things a little differently.
So have you
Um,
thought of re-recording those songs? Obviously they're still on the first album, but then you could do like a different version of them for maybe like album 3, where it's just you.
yes. So that's crazy that you touch on that subject, because I did do that with On My Terms with the remixes with Control and Time. Time was supposed to be explicit, and and now it is, because even though it's one word that has changed and the whole instrumental has changed, to me that was the original concept that I wanted. You know what I mean? So now, um, I love the old time, but then I love this time. It's kind of a hard battle because it's still your music. You know what I mean?
Right, because
Um,
you have on here, and you're kind of touching on it right now, so maybe I should bring this up. So you have a second version of Fragile. You have a
yes,
second version of Mia Moore,
yes,
and then you have the 2 remixes, so Time and Control. So
yes.
we're going to discuss all 4 of those in more detail. But so why those 4 songs to kind of do like different versions on a second album?
Well, the person that I had wrote the song about Mi Amor um, is a fucking loser, and I didn't want the message to be about that be about that person no more. So I made it into a true love version with some of the most people that I appreciate in this life. I wanted them to also be a part of it. Desi is a young and talented as fuck, and gorgeous and smart. I mean, there's so many adjectives that I could say about her, but um, she's an amazing singer and young woman that I felt like she would add so much to this song. And Joe Lujan, his voice is amazing, and he also sings and talks in Spanish. So to add a new flair to already a Spanglish song, I felt like giving him a whole verse in Spanish would add more to the Spanglish side. And Desi, I mean, she lives in a place where there's so many Latin people, and her family's Latin, and I just felt like her fans and her family and friends would also like to hear her in a Spanglish song.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we'll get into more detail on those. So because we're going to break down every track on here. So that's
Okay.
10 tracks, I believe. So
Yes.
the CD itself is it's roughly 30 minutes, give
Yeah.
or take. And I will tell you this one thing, and I was going to start to tell you this right before we started recording, but my favorite track on here, and I'm not going to say what it is until we come to it, actually teared me up. I actually teared up. And I thought, no, I'm stupid. What are you talking about? The first time I heard it, I'm like, this is stupid. Why am I tearing up over this? Then I heard it again today. I teared up again. And it was like, what the hell's wrong with me? And so the song, so it's my favorite song on the track. And like I said, I'm not going to say what it is until we get to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with my second favorite track. Okay. And which is, and we're going to go more or less in order, you know. So my second favorite track is the first track on here, which is Focus on Me. I really like the buildup of the song. It's the shortest song on the album.
Yeah.
So I actually wanted it to be longer. I kind of took it as like an introduction to it, because it is the shortest. Yeah. And it's like, you know, focus on me, focus on this CD, focus on my music, focus on what you're listening to, focus on all of this stuff. And that's why it's kind of the shortest, because it's kind of an intro. That's how I kind of looked at it. You know, it's all in how you interpret it. It's one of those ones where I love the beginning and it just builds and builds. There's like 3 layers to the song. And it just starts off kind of mellow, you know, and then it builds up a little bit, and then boom, it hits. So please tell me more about my second favorite song on here, Focus on Me.
So I'm glad that you caught that it is the shortest song. I wanted to see if I can make a fucking TikTok song. And most TikTok songs are short. Like they're only maybe a minute, 2 minutes. And a lot of TikTok songs, like you said, they build and there's always a new layer, and it keeps it relevant and keeps it like alive. But the crazy part about it is Focus on Me has a verse, a pre-chorus, a chorus, a verse 2, pre-chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus. So it's layered as a whole song. It's just short. And we kind of talked about it the last time I was on the episode. It took me a long time to come back into the studio, and after being gone and not posting on social media and not doing a lot of things, I wanted people to focus on me, and be like, hey, I still do music, even though half of y'all hosts probably thought I was dead, because I was not like posting anything, I wasn't doing anything. And like you said, I mean, some people actually might see as an intro, but if I didn't see it like that, but let me tell you, it's a fucking good intro to be like, focus on me and listen to the rest of the fucking album.
Yeah, because it's like the like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. You know, the Beatles is they have that intro song of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and then they introduce Billy Shears, and then that goes into the rest of the album. And that's where I kind of thought this was, in a way, was like, okay, this is going to focus on me. This is, you know, focus on the music, focus on the writing, focus on the, you know, all of that. That's how I took it. You know, you know, people can interpret it, I guess, how they wish. But and I may be totally wrong from how, you know, you said TikTok. I didn't even think TikTok. But I just really liked it. I think I listened to it today like 3 times, because I kind of went through each one and was listened to the whole thing. And, you know, I listened to the whole thing twice, and then I went through and like sampled a whole bunch of stuff. Like, okay, no, I want to listen to this one over again. And that's when I did my little stars and stuff like that. So I really like that song. So I think that's, sure, you're welcome. And so now the second song is Clapback. And that runs 3 minutes and 8 seconds. Now, I thought it had a great beat, so I'm very interested in beats. Like, I don't even care if it's music that I'm not necessarily interested in. If it has a good beat, I can listen to it and be entertained by it. That's fine. And so it's one of those things where, as long as it has a good beat, and I like the song, it actually reminds me, and I don't know how much you know of Duran Duran's music, but much later in their career, they started doing, until they just released a new album, more dance music, stuff that has that much more of a dance beat instead of more of like a new wave beat. So when I heard this song, I'm like, oh, this really kind of reminds me of like a Duran Duran song, like a more current one. that you would hear
Yes.
in like a dance club or something like that. So
Mhm.
tell me about Clapback.
So Clapback. Hmm, do I want to say this? Fuck it, I'll say it. So Clapback was supposed to be on Biggest Battle,
Oh.
and I had gotten the verse and the chorus, and I could not write to it after that. And I was like, "What the fuck? Like, why can't I write that?" I was having writer's block, and when I was recording it in the studio, I was so upset that I was just like, "You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna stop this song. I don't want to work on this song." And that's how Treasure came out, because I was so frustrated with that. I recorded Treasure instead of Clapback, and Treasure made my first album. So I had an extra beat, and when I was going into the studio for the second album, and for some reason, when I heard it, boom, all of a sudden I started writing, and all these ideas came out, and I was just like, fuck, I couldn't write to Clapback for Biggest Battle because it wasn't, it, how do I say it? It wasn't time to write that. In life, I feel like you have to go through stuff to experience certain things
Mhm.
to write about it and sing about it. And when Clapback came in, um, sometimes I like to go dancing. I like good music. I like to like feel the night and all of its inspiring opportunities that you could grasp when you go out and you dance, and just dancing with other people, dancing with people who make you laugh, people who you love. It just feels good to dance with people like that. And I wanted to make a dance song. I've danced with you, John, and I've loved it.
Yes, we have.
And it just feels good to just live life and dance. So I created that song, and it kind of had a trap vibe to it. So, and some people need to be reminded that not all the time people want to fuck you, or you want to fuck somebody. Sometimes you could just dance, and
Right.
sometimes you just want to throw some cash. I don't want to fuck. I just want to throw some cash or make some cash, and that's how it's going to be. That's just a fun dance song that I wanted to create.
Yeah, and it is, because back in the day when I was living in Northern California, my friends and I used to go down, sometimes with girlfriends, sometimes without, and we'd go into San Francisco and we'd hit the clubs, and
Yes.
that's all we would do. We would drink a lot and dance,
Yeah.
and I used to, believe it or not, I was hit on by everybody, because back in the day, I looked a lot like Mel Gibson, back at the early days, like Mel Gibson, Treat Williams.
Yeah.
And so I'd be hit on by men, women, all that type of stuff. And it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just great. It was great to just dance with somebody, or just say, no, I'm just
Mhm.
going to dance by myself. And you're just that
Yeah.
person who's just kind of there doing their thing. So yeah, it's a good song to do it to.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. And now we come to the third song, which is Mi Amor, and this is a would you call it a remake, or how would you how
Um,
does music work with songs, like a, because you can't cover
so
yourself.
yeah. So it would not technically be a remake. It would just be a different version, or you would say like remix. I wanted to use version to call it True Love version.
Mhm.
Because I thought it sounded so cool, and I love both of the people on that single or on that song, and I was just it was fitting. It was fucking fitting.
Yeah, and the full title track, or the full title of it is, yeah, Mi Amor, True Love version, featuring Desi and Joe Lujan. And you had mentioned earlier with the Spanish, so that's Joe speaking Spanish.
Hmm. Yes.
It fits, and it works, and I even wrote down here solid track, because I went back and I listened to it on the first album, and it's like it's still a solid track. It's just one of those songs that is, it's just solid. Like, you listen to it
Mhm.
and you're not like, why is there Spanish in here? You don't do that. You're like, oh, that's cool. There's now Spanish in this. And both versions
Yeah.
work, but on different levels. And
Yeah.
it's just a solid track. I mean, that's all I could write down on this is solid track because everything
Thank
works.
you.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you. Their vocals had made it solid on this version. It was just so cool. And to add a whole, basically Joe singing a whole verse in Spanish, which he, again, after many time after time, he shows people his capability of talent that he has. And most people probably didn't even know he spoke Spanish, and now he's singing in Spanish. So it's so dope. And then Desi, who is only 13, released her debut EP Metamorphosis with 5 songs, bangers. Like, it's so cool to see someone so young chasing after her dreams like that. If I was 13 doing that, oh my god, like I would have loved it. But everyone's timing is different.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah, it was funny as a long, we're talking long time ago, 20, 30 years ago or whatever it was. I was an usher at a movie theater in Pasadena. I used to work for United Artists. And I always talked about film. And I was going to school, but I wasn't really doing anything. And there was a one of the cashiers, and I was talking about films, and she interrupted me. And she goes, "You're not going to do anything until you're like 45." I could tell. She goes, "You're 45. That's when everything happens." It happened at 45.
That's
That's
crazy.
yeah. Everything started for me when I moved to Vegas, which was,
Wow.
you know, it was weird. And then once David Sterling came in, and then all the, you know, Joe and Drew Marvin, all these people, it started. It was like 45. So at times it does. Yeah, she's 13 and it's happening. You're in your 20s and it's happening. And then for
Yeah.
me, it started in, you know, in like, you know, my late 40s, you know, and so
Yeah.
sometimes that's just when it happens.
It just, it's, and I believe this, it's never too late to chase after your dreams. But just because you're chasing after your dreams, that does not mean shit happens immediately. You have to
Sure.
work towards it. And then one day, like, you'll wake up, it's going to be like every other fucking regular day. One day, everything's just going to work. You're going to start doing it. You're going to start making movies. You're going to start recording. You're going to start writing these. It's so strange. It's so big for me to understand that, because it's like, you can't understand time, but fuck it. I mean, I'll try to, and then I get upset and I'm just like, why am I doing this? Like, but
Yeah, it's just it's so. What would you think? So, not saying today, like if you were Desi's age today, 13 back when you were actually 13. Do you think if you had the opportunity to make these 2 CDs and all that, that it would have happened, or maybe if it did, the music and songs might be very different?
the the songs would probably be like straight up like Christian gospel, because
Oh,
like if I was 13, my parents would have had, they would have been like, all right, you can sing, all right, you sing church music. Would I have wanted to do that? I mean, I probably would have, because I would have had music out. But no, I'm glad and I'm blessed that I started at the time that I had like started. Don't get me wrong, at the age of 13, I was in choir, I was singing, I was doing everything that I could to get better at singing. But I felt like I had to go through just life in high school, and high school had taught me so much about myself. Um, and a lot of the people that I went to school with were fucking lame. Like, so a lot of like me learning my confidence was from that high school, because people would try to clown you or try to belittle you, and I was just like, bitch, who are you? Like, nobody cares. And that's where I gained my confidence, because I was like, why am I letting these white hoes, I'm sorry, I should wait, you gotta edit that out, because I don't want people to be like, oh my god, he's, but I went to a school who was prominently all rich white people. And these bitches thought that they could say and do whatever. And no, I learned my confidence. And if I hadn't gone to that school, I would not have realized the type of person that I was. and who I am and the type of music that I wanted to sing about. And I would tell people, well, I'm going to do music. I'm going to create, like, I'm going to go on The Voice or do the X Factor. And I did try out for The Voice and X Factor, and they both, like, they told me that I didn't have a voice. Like, so, like, I
Oh,
should not be singing, which kind of sucks because it's like, damn. But
wow.
I released my first album. I'm about to release my second, and I did exactly what I told all of those bitches to kiss my brown ass now, who would just laugh at me.
But think about how many people didn't. You see, I love watching those American Idol rejects.
Yeah,
When Simon says you shouldn't be doing this, your voice is awful. Then they leave and they're crying and they're all like white trash and they're like, I'm gonna do this, and they're crying and they never do it. They just go and work at
yeah,
McDonald's. And you
mm-hmm,
did it. You now have the
yeah,
second CD out. I remember saying on the first video that we did, you did it. You have one CD. Now you have
yeah,
two.
too. That's
I mean,
crazy.
yeah, I mean, who would think two? I mean, some people would be happy with one, or maybe it was too much work, or
Yeah,
yeah, I did it. Now I'm going to move on to something else. But you did two. You got two out,
yeah,
which means you can easily do a
yes.
third.
Well, in January, I am going back into the studio to start recording my third.
Nice, good. How many songs you got planned?
As of right now, well, technically, I mean, it's still a project, but it would be an EP because I'm thinking around 5 or 6. Um, because I don't want to say what it is just yet because I don't want people to like expect the date, but I'm working on something.
Okay, okay. Well, that's good. That's good. So a little something's coming. So
Something
little something, little something.
that
Um,
should drop later this year.
okay, cool. Well, I'll look forward to that. So, and I liked both of these. I actually, I tell you, I don't know which one I like better. Oh, let me flip that. I like them both. I don't think there's one
Thank
that's
you.
better than the other. You
Oh,
know,
thank you.
I think probably when you're up to like 10 CDs, then you could go, oh, well, this is I like this one, and this is number two, and this one maybe
Yeah.
is my number three. But I like them both because they're they're not the same, but they're the same, but they're also different, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah, it
listening to
does.
this and then going, what the hell did he do here? Like, he didn't go country all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different, but it's the same, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I
You know,
wanted people to I didn't want to like for everyone who does follow me and follows my music and who supports me, I didn't want them to, like you said, be like, what the fuck? He's doing country music. No. I still wanted the Chris Ivan flair, if you would want to say, in Biggest Battle to still be in On My Terms, but like you said, it's different. Like, so to the fans and to the people who already listened to me, it's like, oh, this is something new, but this is still Chris.
right?
Yeah,
Because it is a little darker, than
yeah,
the other one, and especially with certain songs. And I even wrote that down in my notes here. So, but okay, so next song, number
yeah.
4, On My Terms. It's 3 minutes and 1 second, and so I wrote down, what are your terms? Who is this song about? And it's a good ballad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Um, who is this song about? I will never say.
I would not expect you
Um,
to.
but I would say a group of people that I would say that's close to me that need to realize that you could say what you want to say, you could say your opinion, but just because you say it, that does not mean I am going to drop everything I'm doing or change the way I feel about something just because you say you should do it like this or this is how I see it. I'm sorry. Um I am an independent adult and I'm gonna do shit on my terms. Um and what are my terms? Ooh, that is a good question. My terms to be in my life or for me to be in other people's life is respect and mutual love. As I respect you, John, um, those are my terms to being a, I feel like, a loyal friend is to respect you, is to show you that you're loved when you're around, that to show you that if you ever need someone to lean on, I'm here. Those are my terms as a friend, and those are also my terms if you want to be in my life. And I feel like everyone should have those terms when they add people to their life or people who want to be their friends, is like just mutual respect. And we could agree to disagree. We don't always have to agree on certain things, but I could still fuck with you because you're an amazing director. Like, we could connect on what we do connect about. We don't need to connect on everything.
Do you feel that when it comes to music, as I think it's with respect, that it seems like respect is more music oriented, that it's not, you know, you seem to have more wars, Biggie and Tupac and stuff like that, where
Yeah.
you don't really in movies, like you don't really in novels, you don't really in
Yeah.
painting. So respect becomes, that's where you get these kind of wars. I mean, even to you know, bring up the Beatles again. I mean, John Lennon and Paul McCartney, you listen to
Hmm.
their solo songs, were bashing on each other. So even back
Yeah.
in the 70s, the Beatles were bashing on each other. And it was
Literally.
because of of a lack of respect. And
Hmm.
Paul did a song called Too Many People, which was about him saying to John and Yoko, you talk too much. Stop telling people what to do.
Yeah.
And then John did a song called How Do You Sleep at Night? And Paul's
Mm.
response to that was very well, thank you. And there seems
Hmm.
to be more of like a respect issue within music. Do you think that's true?
Yes. Yes, it is. Someone more, what you would say, like relevant, it is like Katy Perry and Taylor Swift. They had their own war for several years. But yes, I do agree. It's like it's the respect. Like, we're all musicians, we're all singing, we're all trying to have people get to know who we are. And um when you minimize someone else's story, because I've had several artists tell me, "Oh, you don't really have a good story," or like, "You don't sing good," and I'm like, "Who are you to tell me that I don't sing good? Like, you are doing the same thing I'm doing. Do I ever tell you you don't sound good? No, because that's rude. Do I even think
Right.
like that? No. But if I did have a negative thought, why would I tell you? I'm nobody to tell you or try to belittle you and make you feel less than who you are."
So do
And
you, I mean, because you brought it up in some of your music. Do you, if, let's say you make up with somebody, you're friends with somebody, you guys have a bad falling out, you write a song about that falling out. You know, Taylor Swift has written about every boyfriend she's had. And
yeah.
what if you become friends with that person again? It's kind of there. It's track five, you know, and it's
Hmm.
always there. Is it good to do these type of things, or does it really matter in the end?
Um, it doesn't really matter in the end because at that moment, that's what the fuck I wanted to say, and that's how I
Okay.
felt. And I have to respect my older self, me in the past, because those were his feelings. You know what I mean? If I have a falling out with somebody, and if we're just being honest, Kaliza, I fucking love that bitch, but we did have a falling out, and that's who is featured on Help Me. That's why her and I didn't do anything on my first project for Biggest Battle. We had to learn, and we just had to go through some things, and we rekindled our friendship around the time I was starting Big on my terms, and we took things slow, and we missed each other as friends. You know what I mean? And we had that mutual respect for each other, and now she's, I would say, a dear friend of mine. Um, because I mean, you have to grow sometimes, and you just say some stuff that's fucked up. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't perfect either, but I had to learn. You know what I mean? Um, and there was also two other people featured on "Don't Waste My Time," which originally that track was called "Days." And I won't spend too much light on that because those people aren't worth my time. Um, but they had lost an opportunity from a good point that I was trying to just be kind. And, you know, that's all I'm going to say is because the old me would have wanted to cuss them out. The old me would have just called their name out. But I still love you guys and I hope you guys are doing great. It's just things didn't work out.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. So then, because we're going to get to Please Don't Waste My Time in a second. So the next song, track 5, is Touch Me. It's 3 minutes and 45 seconds. I wrote that I really liked the music in this. I liked that it was dark and slow. It was very kind of moody. It reminded me of because there's a woman's voice in it, but that woman's is not listed on the CD. So I couldn't write down who it was, but it almost felt like beat poetry to me because it wasn't directly like, it felt more like spoken word than it did actual singing, especially her part. And so yeah, really enjoyed the music, like that it was like dark and moody and kind of slow. I kind of like that beat poetry type of thing going on in it, and a woman's voice who is unidentified.
Well, as much as I wanted to credit her, she was just like, oh my God, what if my great grandma hears this song? You know how like her eyes of the innocent me would just crush. So I was just like, okay, I won't credit you. I appreciate you for saying all those very sexual things in it. But she will say a mystery, and I just love that song. That was another song that I could not finish when I was recording Biggest Battle because I hadn't gone through enough lessons in life to understand what I like in life. As
I do believe that's the song that has a certain number in it.
Yeah. Is that where I say 69?
Yes.
I say that in I say that in Please Don't Waste My Time and Focus on Me.
Oh, maybe that's in Don't Waste My Time.
No, 69 is in Focus on Me. Please don't waste my time.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting it confused. Okay. I didn't write it down. I thought it was just in there. Okay.
No, but yeah, Touch Me is a very sexual song, and it's like sometimes people look so gorgeous when their face is buried in a pillow.
That is true. That is very true.
But that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Well, so it's so why not use like an alias for her and still have somebody's like use her middle name with like a fake name to still give at least a credit on there?
Well, she is credited, but not on the physical. I'm glad that you brought that up. So she is credited, but under a different name, on like streaming services. She just didn't want because sometimes artists, honestly, they pay for their I mean, if you're looking at that, John, I think you can figure it out. Like,
so she is in here?
Yes. She just didn't want to be on the track list. No, that's Kaliza. But I'm not helping. I'm over here
hoping that she'll go, oh yeah, that's her, and they go, oops.
Oh, I know. You almost got me because if you would have went on, I would have been like, oh yeah, because my dumb ass.
Well, when you oh no, go
on. She just didn't want to be listed. Just because she was like, it's too sexual. Like she's like married and she didn't want everybody hitting her up and being like, oh my God, your voice is so sexy. Please, can we fuck? Like, no.
Now I'm curious.
John, you've met her before. I'll tell you after.
Okay, but she is on here.
Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. So the next track is Please Don't Waste My Time, and that is 3 minutes and 25 seconds. And
Yes.
That's whose time is it? Your time that they're wasting? Somebody else's time? Whose time?
No, like, don't waste my time, bitch. Like, if I'm fucking with you, that means I am. Listen, I've learned to call people acquaintances because when I say someone is my friend, that means they are my friend, and I will support them if they are going through shit. If they ever need someone, you are my friend, and the meaning of friendship to me is so special that I have to start calling bitches acquaintances, because people feel like, oh, we talk for 5 minutes and they're like, oh, my friend. Bitch, you don't know me. Okay. It's like, and I get so frustrated because I felt like people have wasted my time. People have wasted, and I will slightly, because I'm a little bit in the film world. I feel like
You are. You've been in films.
yeah, I have encountered a lot of shitty ass producers and directors who just talk, 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 and they waste your time.
Okay.
And those are certain people that I have sung about on my terms as well. They're saying, like, when I say, like, I'm tired of taking the back seat. Like, if you were feeling different about me last week, don't talk to nobody else. Ask me. Like, if you're mad or upset about me, don't call nobody else. Call me, because I'll tell you why I do not like you or I unfollowed you. That is very asking other people. I think that is rumors, or you're trying to start drama. Dude, just ask me. I'm a grown ass adult. Like, ask me and I'll tell you why I don't fuck with you. So don't waste my time.
Now, a lot of your titles are shorter. If you could have a shorter title for this, what would it be?
My time.
My time. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that works.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because speaking of like people that are featured on this and stuff like that, how do you pick somebody? Like, if I came to you and said, hey, Chris, I want to be featured on your next album, can I sing backup for you? You'd probably be like, well, John, you don't sing, you don't have a musical background, you're nobody, you may be doing something in film, you'd say something. How do you pick people to be on these with you?
Well, they have to be pursuing some type of music career, whether and everyone's actually pursuing a music career. Adam is an amazing producer, vocalist. He's so good, so good. Joe's working on his album as we speak. Like, Kaliza, she's working on her shit. Desi, she released an EP. She's working on her album now. This time around, I wanted people who were involved in music. I did not just want for Biggest Battle. I told you, like, 2 people. I just would have chose somebody differently because they weren't current in music. You know what I mean? So, but it would be different because you're a director. It's like, hey, I have this movie. I want a theme song. I have written other people's theme songs for other movies. You just give me a reference how you want it. And if you want to do background vocals, I would love, like, I'm just saying, what if, like, if it was your movie and you wanted to be on, like, a soundtrack for, like, the theme song, I would love for your vocals to be a part of it, just because you are a part of the process. You know what I mean? It's different. Like,
yeah, I could see that. Like, Rob Zombie did the theme song for Howard Stern's Private Parts, and Howard Stern is in the background. So it's every once in a while and you can hear Howard in the background. His voice is all distorted, but yeah, you know, it's his movie. Rob Zombie and Howard Stern are friends, so why not have Howard in the background for it? So I get that. So because I would imagine that if somebody just came up to you and just said, "Oh, you have to have me on your new album," you're not going to go, "Oh, okay." You know, you'd have to hear something. They would have to have something.
And I'll take a step even further. You could sound good and you could be an amazing artist and you could have so many fans, you could have so much like exposure. But for me, I will only work with people who I will call a friend. And a friend, like I meet a lot of other artists and they are acquaintances. But if you are my friend and you're in the music world and you're doing it, I want to collab with you because I have a friendship bond that means so much more than just the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I watch a fair amount of YouTube music stuff, like the best of this year, the worst of this year. And I always seem to find on there, because I also want to be a little current on what's popular. Even though I'm more old school, but I always see someone like Justin Bieber is on there, and he's always featured with somebody else. And from what the person who's made the video is saying is the person that's featured on his song is better than him. So it's like, do you think these are just like cash grabs? Are these, are you just getting somebody with a name to be on your album to make you popular? Or
that is a huge, I'm not gonna lie, it's the music world is also a business transaction too. It's like, how many fans do you have? And it's like, okay, well, your fans are about to hear something different, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't say I don't focus on that, but it is also, music is very business oriented. And if you are only focusing on the music and you're lacking on the business, it's going to be hard for you because you need to know both. Some people hate the business part. I actually love it.
Now you're saying that, that you just want to work with friends and stuff, but if someone you came across who you didn't like could maybe bring that up just because of a name, would you maybe do it?
I would.
Speaking of business.
It's easy for me to say yes, because obviously if there is money involved. But in that short time of us maybe like talking, I would honestly want to have at least one decent conversation with them. You know what I mean? I wouldn't just want it to be like just business. But yes, it would be good if I wanted to like be with some, like work on somebody else's track or someone else be on my track. I've actually had very huge artists reach out to me and ask me for a feature. I have actually. It's just their pricing is ridiculous and I cannot afford it. So I'm grateful that they have heard my shit and that they have wanted to work with me. And these are big people would know. I just can't afford it. Guess they have their price and that's how they make money too. They charge for a feature.
Sure. And when you say feature, like a feature film?
No, like them being on one of my songs.
Oh, like a featuring type of thing, like featuring Joe Lujan. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I was looking at the back of this, kind of on like the business side. So let's stick with that for a second. So it does say, written by, and then it's like your name and several others and stuff like that. The songs are written, by you guys. Who does the music?
So it says produced, mixed, and mastered by Blake Wisner right above that.
Okay. Yeah.
So Blake, he's an amazing genius producer out here in Las Vegas, and in LA, and he's just amazing. He's a wizard. He's good at what he does.
How do you know what goes well with a song? Like, I've always wondered, like, I could never do music. I just don't know. I just have no idea. Like, somebody says, no, put in a trumpet there. I would have no idea to put that trumpet there. No, put in more cowbell. I have no idea where any of this stuff is. How do you figure that out when you when you're putting it together, that it's missing that one thing? And how do you know what that one thing is?
Oh, that's hard to say. Your soul tells you. Like other like I can't really like be like, oh, your heart then tells your arteries, oh, you're missing this. It's just something deep down, like you're just missing it. There are some musicians who have producers just create the beats for them. They don't say how they want anything. They just have the finished beat. They come in, they record their vocals, and they're done. I'm not like that. Every song that I've ever created, we have started from scratch and we have built it from the ground up, because I never was not in the studio to give my opinion on my music. And you could just tell, like, if let's say we're doing a guitar, like a guitar song, you could just tell, like, oh, let's do a guitar riff right here. Like, it just adds, you know what I mean? It's really hard for me to like really like pinpoint it, you know what I'm saying? But as a musician, and especially with working with other musicians, you talk in the studio, you're like, oh, let's test this out. Or someone will literally do something as simple as like snapping. And they're like, oh my God, I fucking like that. Like that snapping was it. Like, it's just weird, John. Like, I honestly don't know. It's like when you guys are filmmaking, like you are like behind the camera and you just accidentally stand at the wrong time, and you're looking at your cast and you're like, oh fuck, this is a perfect angle, like a perfect angle. It just happens. It just happened naturally, you know what I mean?
Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I've always just found it interesting whenever I listen to music. Like, you can always hear that little, there's something in the background. And you're like,
Yeah.
how did they figure out to put that in the background? Like, what made them think that one particular sound needed to be there? Because would the song be totally different without it?
Well, yeah, it also goes back to like what genre is. Did you want an 808 to have that impactful, like kind of like theatrical, like bang, or did you want some hi-hats to make it sound a little bit more trappy? It honestly just depends on the song.
Okay. All right. Okay. So there's really no scientific way. It just sounds good with this. It sounds good with that. Sometimes it's an
Um,
accident.
sometimes it is an accident. Honestly, I'm not like really into I don't know a lot of music theory. I'm hopefully in the next year or two I'm gonna learn a shit ton. Maybe I'm saying the words wrong, but it just happens, bro. You just vibe with it.
And how do you know what's a good song and what's a bad song? Like, how do you figure? Let's say you have 10 songs here. What if you have 12? How do you know to take those two out?
Well, I did have 12, and I did realize that those two were, oh, how do I say this? Those two songs were good for the deluxe edition because I thought they were really
Oh,
good.
I was
So
going to ask you about that.
I saved my two favorite songs, I think personal best, for the deluxe, and I didn't want to give those to the people yet.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Because
Yeah.
it's because you write this, you come up with the idea for the song, you write the song, you get the instruments in there, you write the whole thing, you produce it, it gets mixed, you have the track, it's finished, and then it's like, let's move it off. But wouldn't you know
Well,
that from doing a demo? Wouldn't you know that from
well,
practicing?
well, yeah. Well, that's why Clapback and Touch Me and Please Don't Waste My Time didn't make the first album, because I wrote the first verse and then I can never write, and I was like, oh no, this doesn't sound good, and I was tripping. I was like, oh, I can't have this on the album, like it doesn't sound good. So I scrapped them, and then when I revisit them, I was in a whole new chapter in life, and boom, like that, I started writing to them.
Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Okay, so back to the album. So now we're on track 7. And
Yeah.
that is it's a new version of Fragile,
Yes.
featuring Joe Lujan, and this is the broken version. Um,
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Um, Joe and I have unfortunately been through just traumatic events. Um, just separately, you know what I mean? Like he's had his own life, and I've gone through different things in my life, and just really sad things sometimes. And I was looking for someone who had a very bad event happen to them. Um, to be featured on the song because they would get it, you know what I mean? You would get the pain, you understand what pain is. And I had multiple people send me verses and try out, like kind of like send me like their demo of the song. And just the stuff that he was saying, as close as a friend that I am with Joe, I wasn't just going to like be like, oh yeah, you're on the song. He had to write a verse and he had to send it through, and I listened to it just as much as I listened to every other artist that sent their verse out. Most people would be like, oh, you're favoritising him, like you're favoriting him. No, to be honest, Joe's good at writing. He writes his own fucking movies, you know what I mean? He's good at
Right.
writing, so I'll give it to him. He really just he outdid himself again. Um I said that like as like he always outdoes himself. Like, and it shocks me. And he understands it, and his voice, like there were certain notes like that he does in his verse where I looked at him when he was recording it and I was just like, what the fuck? Like I've never heard you sing like that or do that certain note. And I was just like, it just came together. I was like, fuck, that sounds so good.
Okay. And one of the things that I liked on it is one, it is a ballad, right? I'm take that it is a ballad. And I really like the guitar in it. There's not a lot of guitar in these. And so this one had that guitar that stood out, and it had a much bigger sound too. So it just starts out
Yeah.
with the guitar, and then it builds with that much bigger sound, and then boom, guitar for a little bit,
Yeah.
bigger sound, guitar for a little bit, bigger sound. So I thought that was nice because it sounded different, and it is one of my favorite songs on the, on the
Thank you.
CD. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, because I have my little asterisk next to it to show that it's one of my favorite songs. And yeah, it's just a good song. So you guys feed off of each
Thank
other
you.
very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sure. Um, so then and how do you come up with these like the broken version, the true love version? How do you kind of come up with these little kind of subtitles, or I think, for these songs?
You know, I just thought that Fragile was just a sad a song, and it sounds like two broken people singing, trying to get their voice heard, and it just fit. It just fit. Broken when certain events like had occurred, you know what I mean? So I think that fits perfect. And the true love version, it's already the song it means my love, but like true love is I think it was because I dearly like appreciate and love both of those featured artists on Mi Amor, that it just fit. It's that's I feel like that's what true love is.
Okay. Yeah, because it's there are definitely some very solid tracks on here. And if I had to pick the probably the single, like the very first one that you would release, if I was your manager or whatever, I would probably say this new version of Mi Amor would be the first single. And then I would pick as your second single my favorite song on this CD that actually teared me up, and that's Help Me. So it's 4 minutes and 3 seconds. I absolutely love the piano in this. I love the build up. It's a much darker song. I love the female voice in it. And I'm telling you, man, if your voice is a 10 on all these songs, your voice on Help Me is a 12. It got to me. That song got to me. Please, please tell me what Help Me is. I'm tearing up right now talking about it.
No, I appreciate that. Like, you know, Help Me. was not planned, writing it, especially a song like that. Um, one day going into the studio, I think I was supposed to finish up um please don't waste my time, and I just wasn't feeling it that day. I had some shit that had happened that day, and I felt like that day, like I needed to ask somebody for help. I needed someone to ask me. I needed to ask somebody, like, can you hear me out? Like I feel alone. Like I needed someone. I needed a shoulder to cry on. And instead of taking the negative way and possibly doing negative stuff to cope with the pain, I put it into a song. And um it's it's a deep one. The lyrics are deep. It's like, will you miss me if I leave right now? Like, would you even know I'm gone right now? You know what I mean? And like, would I miss Earth if I took my own life? Like, and I'm not afraid to say and sing about songs like that because mental health is so important. There are
Oh
so
yeah.
many people who have passed away, and so many people who had committed suicide these past 2 years, because they feel like they have nobody to talk to. They feel like they are by themselves in life. And you never do life by yourself, because as humans, we need to be there for each other and hear people out and do our best to help people when they are in need, because not all the time in life is it rainbows and butterflies and flowers. No, it gets fucked up, it hurts, it's sad, and we need to be there for other people when they're going through that shit too. And I had when I recorded that song, I knew, and I'm not trying to sound cocky, I was just like, oh, I know that this one's gonna do good. Um,
Well, it is.
and I had
Yeah.
thank you, and I had sent it to Kaliza, and because I was just like, oh my god, like listen to this song that I just recorded. And she was like, well, first of all, it's sad as fuck. And then she was asking, can I please be on it? Can I please be on it? Can I please be on it? And I was just like, ugh. I was very honest with her. I was like, I don't know if I want any artists on it. I don't know if I want anyone else on it. But I said, hey, take the time out of your day, write a verse, and send it to me. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is me saying no, but it just wasn't meant to be. You know what I mean? And she was just
Sure.
like, I mean, no, I respect that, and let me just send you something and see if you like it. If you like it, then let's do it. And she had sent it, and I was still hesitant just because the message of the song was super deep, and I didn't know if I wanted to share it with anybody. Because I was thinking about like a lot of vulnerable stuff that I have struggles in life, and I have struggles every day. I'm a human. And after us talking and her just writing more, and it sounded so pretty, I just felt like it was right. And I had asked other people, because I was a little like stuck on it. I asked people, here, listen to this version, listen to this version. And it was other music people that I respected, and they were like, wow, like Kylie and you sound so good together. You guys feed off of each other's voices. um and Kaliza is somebody that I've known for almost 10 years, and we've been singing since 2013 together. And it just fit. She was um and she has went through the same struggles that I have gone through, and it just fit. I wanted people to connect to the song. I don't want someone to just sing it and then not have a connection to it. And Kaliza, I'm sorry, she has an amazing voice. Like, that bitch could sing her ass off. And we're we're just talking, and we're just being real. Like, we're just talking truth. Like, we're not sugarcoating like what most people would be like, hey, don't promote stuff like that if you singing about like suicide. No, we're not talking about suicide. We're not singing about suicide. We're trying to bring awareness of a serious, serious, serious cause of death in America.
Yeah, and it's a maybe that's why it hit me, you know, because I've considered it myself. I've considered it at least twice. It's hard to see now, but there I did it. Oh no, actually no, there it is. It's right there. I actually started to once. It
Mm,
got so deep and I stopped. Um,
yeah,
uh, but it's you know it's like right there. So maybe that's why it hit me so hard. Maybe that's why you know I could really relate to it.
yeah.
So it's so what do you think with this song being so personal and about that subject? And your all your songs seem to be very personal, like you've been through them. You're singing from what you know. What about
Yeah.
people who write songs about stuff they don't know? You know, like you know, and it kind of is that fake? Should people really do that? Like,
No.
should I write a song about going to France if I've never been to France?
Um, ooh, everyone could do what they feel like is right for them. For me, I will only sing about stuff that I have gone through. I'm not going to sit here and lie and try to be someone I'm not. But to someone else, they might like that, and that's what makes them happy, and that what makes them sleep better at night. Okay, cool. Um, Honestly, John, it's just a matter of an opinion. You would never catch me writing a song that I have never gone through. Never.
Well, I'm glad to hear that
Uh,
because I would be really disappointed if I don't know if I heard a song from somebody that I could really relate to, and then it's just like, oh yeah, that's never happened to me. I just wrote it. You know, it happened
yeah.
to my uncle, or it happened to a cousin or a friend of mine from 20 years ago or something. You
Mhm.
know, it's there should be something personal. There's something different about making Star Wars and then making a song that is very personal. Because obviously George Lucas has never been in outer space and he's never fought.
Mhm.
You know, he's never been on a Death Star. So I mean, you know, but with music or painting or writing, it seems to be something that needs to be personal. Even Stephen
Yeah.
King, a lot of his personal life are in his books or in his stories. And it could be,
Yeah.
you know, The Shining. It could be, you know, him, you know, somebody fighting a giant rat in like a mill where he used to
Mhm.
work. You know, it could be some crazy thing, but there's some
Yeah.
relation to that he worked in that mill and he wrote that that story, and it just makes it so much better to know
Yeah.
that. So I mean, if you came out with something, you know, like Help Me, and you're like, oh fuck that, suicide, people can let them kill themselves, who cares? I'd be like, oh my
Mm.
god, you know,
Yeah.
now the song doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah. And that's why I will only sing about stuff that I have encountered because it means something. Like it sounds ugh, it sounds kind of dumb to say, but like I don't want to be fake.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to be fake. I want to sing about stuff that I have went through in life. Um and that's why it's hard for me to work with other artists just because sometimes they like to sing about shit, about them owning all this cars and all this money, and I'm looking at them, I'm like, bitch, you ain't got that shit. Like, why are you trying to fake it? Like, I don't like that. That's why I'm very selective with artists who I work with as well.
So with saying that, so it's kind of like these guys that just, you know, that they want to be ballers, and
Hmm.
so they sing about, oh, look at my gold teeth, or look at my car, or look at all this stuff, when we really know it's fake. Like they don't have
Yeah,
that, but they want to give off this image.
yeah,
And I don't know, to me that seems almost dangerous to a point, because you're telling people that you do this stuff, and then young people want to do that,
hmm,
and you're not even doing it, you're just kind of
yeah.
living this lie.
You could possibly be leading them into a very dark path, and that's why people don't understand. Words are very powerful, and if you say certain words and someone takes it the wrong way, whether it's a bad powerful or a good powerful, you could lead someone to doing something that you didn't think they were going to do by you just saying. But sometimes when people listen to music or read a book, they really believe that shit and they will
Oh yeah.
take it to the next level. So
Yeah, it's amazing of how much lying there is in music. I mean,
Yeah.
it's even if you believe it still may be a lie, and you're
Hmm.
just filling that in people's heads.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's very weird, especially when it's hate music. Well, they believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it is hate music, they believe
Yeah.
it to their core. So it's not. I guess it's dangerous, but at least they believe it. So
I
I don't
mean,
know.
like I said, like if that's what makes them sleep better at night, who am I to judge? You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah, I get.
we'll
Yeah.
agree. We'll agree to disagree.
Okay, so we got two songs left, and
Okay.
those are the remixes. So number 9 is Time Adam Remix, and that goes 2 minutes and 7 seconds. What
Yes.
is an Adam remix, and why was this song remixed?
So he is an amazing producer out here in Las Vegas. Amazing vocalist, amazing friend, amazing human. He is so authentic. He is so real. He is so loving. He is one of a kind. He is such a blessing to be able to call a friend in my life, like you, John.
Oh,
Um,
thank you. You're my friend too.
and I wanted to work with him, and I, we just didn't have enough time to do a song together, um, to make the cut for this. And I asked him, "Hey, would you be able to possibly remix a couple songs?" And he said, "Yeah. When do you need them by?" And I gave him a good like month to get them finished, and he was like, "Oh, that's plenty of time." And that happened so quick because we've been dying to work with each other. We respect each other as humans, as musicians, as vocalists. And it did not take much convincing for the both of us to be like, all right, let's take it, let's do this. I did time just because I wanted to revamp it and also make it explicit. Um, but it was also one of I think it was my third song release. So it was a little like I wouldn't say like old because it's what, like 2 years. I just wanted to revamp it, you know what I mean? As a musician and as a writer and as a vocalist, I feel like I've gotten a little better at my craft, so I just wanted to redo it.
Okay. And then the next one, number 10, is Control, also Adam remix. That goes for 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So same idea with Control.
Yeah. Um well, Just Control is also one of my favorite songs off of Biggest Battle, and I just wanted to hear it in a new light and it be transformed, and I wanted it to hear it sound different, and it was amazing. And he fucking killed it. Like, Adam, like, you are so loved. You are so kind as a human, and you are so respected in my eyes. Um, you are so so talented, and I'm so thankful that God placed each other in our lives, because I really cherish our friendship.
Okay. And what are your overall thoughts on remixes? I mean, there's
I
entire
fucking
CDs dedicated to remixes.
Yeah. I love them. You called it. You said, yeah, there is whole albums. With each album, I want to do like 2 remixes. So when I get to 10, having 10 remixes, I want to like kind of have like a spin-off album and called it like a remix album.
So do you
So
so at times you'll see like an artist will have they'll release well, I mean Rob Zombie did it too, and Duran Duran and a bunch of people that I'm fans of did it, where
mhm,
it's one CD and they have a whole bunch of remixes. Sometimes it's the same song a couple times, but
yeah,
they're all remixes done by different people. And
yeah,
I mean, they're taking your song, there we go, that you did, that you put all this work into, and then they're completely kind of like deconstructing it and then constructing it back in their mold, kind of how they want to have it. What do you think about them just completely redoing your music?
I feel like when they redo it and they completely change it, that's the most beautiful part of the whole process of a remix. because it just shows that in my eyes and in my ears, I heard it one way, but everyone is so talented and so unique that everybody hears it in a different way. And just because it's in a different way, that doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's so beautiful because that's something that you didn't see and they saw it. And the message of the song is still there, but it sounds so different, sounds so unique. It sounds like a whole new song. And I feel like when they start to break down and start to construction, like reconstruct a song, I think that's the most beautiful part.
Okay. Have you heard bad remixes?
Yeah, fuck yeah. But who am I? Like, that's just I'm not gonna say what songs, but who am I to like be like, hey, if that's what they like, that's what they fell in love with, and that's what makes them fall asleep at night saying, I'm so proud of that shit. So let them be proud of it.
Should only people that like the song do remixes on it? Like they really, really like the song and they kind of want to put their own spin on it? Or, I mean,
Mm,
can just anybody, like, can I take one of your songs and do a remix of it? Or should it really be by somebody who really appreciates and likes the
um,
song?
I feel like they should really appreciate and like the song because off of Biggest Battle, Time and Control are two of Adam's favorite songs off of Biggest Battle. And
Okay.
they mean a lot to him. So he wanted to revamp it and make it um, into a whole new song and give his flair all over it.
Okay. So it's a more personal thing for him then,
Oh
where
yeah,
the originals are more personal to you, the remixes are more personal to him, even though you like them.
yeah.
Okay. And who were some of your influences on this album?
Ooh, who were my influence? My God, that's I know it might sound weird, but honestly, I didn't have any influences. I went into the studio every time just with a feeling that I was going through. And I would say the influences were my emotions. There was no artist that influenced me like there was in Biggest Battle. It's just my emotions were influencing me and my emotions were taking each song.
Okay. So do you ever listen to music or like watch a movie and then go, "Oh, I could do something with this." Like I don't know, you could just be listening to any song and then something kind of comes into your head, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe you're watching a movie at home. You got 10,000 of them behind you. So
I
would
know.
yeah. So it's don't take that down. The whole building might fall apart. It's a load bearing DVD case wall.
Yeah.
um that maybe you're watching a film and it could you watch something like Austin Powers, one of the Austin Powers movies, and then be like, I just came up with an idea because of something in a movie or another song,
Oh
anything
yeah.
like that?
Well, that's how Fragile came apart. I was watching, oh my God, what is that movie called? I think oh my God. It's with I think her name's Bette Miller. Bette Miller.
Okay,
Um
I know her.
it's like, oh my God, I do not remember the movie. It's basically like two little girls. I think it's called Oceans or
Oh,
something.
Beaches.
Beaches. Oh,
Yeah.
such a good fucking movie. That inspired my song for Fragile.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
very depressing film. I have not seen it, and for that reason I've heard it's very depressing.
It's I wouldn't say it's depressing. The moral of the story is so encouraging. Is it sad and at dark at moments? Yes, but that just makes the message so much more impactful to me.
Okay. And what is the day like for you when you kind of wake up in the morning and you're like, okay, I need to go to the studio today? What kind of goes through the day of you waking up to when you're leaving the studio?
Most people would have like a ritual or they like to do something before they go to the studio or after the studio. Or to me, I like to live just like waking up every day as if like I wasn't going to the studio. Like I don't want to act different. I don't want to do like all these preparations. I want life to take its course before I go into the studio, because whatever it leads me into or whatever emotion, that's exactly what I'm going to sing in the studio that day.
So if you're going to the studio and let's say somebody cuts you off, you almost get into an accident and you're angry about it, will that make your song a little bit more angry?
Probably, yeah, most likely. I was angry when I went to the studio for Biggest Battle. I was angry for Please Don't Waste My Time. Like, yeah, it does. I was angry for On My Terms. You just don't hear it on that song because it's a little bit more graceful, but the verses and what I'm singing about is some deep shit.
And I've noticed a lot of artists, sometimes their album doesn't, or CD, whatever you want to call it these days, they don't, the title of the album isn't even on the CD. Sometimes the title has like nothing to do with the CD, let's say.
Mhm.
But other ones do. So do you, and they say it's the song that represents the album the best. So does On My Terms, that song, is that why you call it On My Terms? Does that song represent the album the best?
Yes, I feel like it represents why I say everything that I say in each and every song, why I choose a specific beat, if I want to do a high note at the end of a song, if I want the my key to be in C, it all reverts to I made those decisions on my terms.
Okay, I like that. Okay. And I think that brings us to the end. I think that's everything. Anything else that you would like to talk about the album? Any any little stories about the album? Anything like that?
Well, the deluxe is already in progress.
Good.
Music videos are already cut. Um, they're cut. They're not color graded. They don't have, but they're cut. I have a shit ton of merch coming out for this album. I have T-shirts. I have stickers. I have air fresheners.
I want an air
Um,
freshener. I'm going to get an air freshener because my car smells boring. So I need it to smell
hopefully,
like On My Terms.
well, it's gonna smell like sex because that's what she said it smells like. It smells like sex, and I love that nice masculine feminine smell of sex. Just because the album is also very sexual. Um, and I'm excited. I will have them before the first, and I know I will see you on the 31st. But I think I will have all my merch by next week, before the 31st, and I'm so happy for everyone to also possibly get something there, air freshener, and I also I also have an NFT, but that is like something most people don't even know about. So I do have an NFT, a little image for the album. It's kind of like a crypto. Like I don't want to talk too much about it because people don't understand what crypto, Bitcoin, NFTs are. So, but for the people who do know, I do have that coming. I have beanies. I have hats. Like I sold out of all of my merch the first time, so I opened up my variety of items for the second album.
Oh,
And
hats? You have hats?
yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes,
What's
sir.
on the hat? What's that look like?
The I believe I believe we went with the version with the album logo and the Chris Ivan and some other things that I do not remember because I'm not always the one who does the details. I mean, I have other people in my life who like to like sometimes take like creative control of like merch, so they like to take that load off of me. So I mean, I hope they're not ugly. I will say that.
So that's on their terms.
No, it's still on my terms because they'll tell me,
You have
but
the
I
final
don't
say.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember. My like I told you, I tell people this all the time. My memory is like is so bad, and I don't remember shit. And it's awful now, but I'm working through it.
You need an action figure. Everybody, like Michael Jackson had an action figure, Metallica had action figures. You need an action figure. You need the Chris Ivan action figure.
I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, would it be naked? Would it have a thong? Like, what? Like, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, the process for that, like that, I wouldn't even honestly know. But it's coming out to be such a blessing, and I'm so grateful for everyone who was part of the album and everyone who invested in their time. It was just, this whole process was a wonderful ride.
Yeah, and you deserve it. So everything that's happening and coming, you definitely deserve it. So and
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, these are not, fly by night albums. I mean, these have a lot of work on them. They're very good. Just because you're my friend, is I'm not pushing them because of that. Is I would not have anything on here I didn't like. So
Well, I would expect you, even as a friend, if you didn't like a song, I would be so okay if you were like, oh, this song was just not it. Because I like the feedback too.
I don't think that there is. That's the thing, is I like them for different reasons. I marked my little asterisks next to the ones that, I gave one, like one asterisk to ones that I liked. Two were like, two asterisks were, oh, I really like this. And then three, like on Help Me, was like, oh, this is my favorite. So there was none of them were, I don't think that there's anything on here where I could go, oh God, man, this could have been better. The only thing is I just wish Focus Me was longer. That'd be the only thing I could say, because I really like Focus Me. It's my second favorite song on there. And but I also like that it is kind of short, because I do see it as like an intro, but that's my own thing. So
Yeah.
so it works for me,
Well, your wish might just come true.
Awesome.
I like to add, I like to work with other artists, and other artists can make the song possibly longer.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. The third album, maybe, or deluxe version, or
It would most likely be the deluxe.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited for different cover and all that for it, like a whole new thing.
Yes, I'm so excited for it. I really am. I'm excited. Like, the cover is going to be so different.
Yeah, I mean, you do just interesting covers. Just there's just work involved here. So it's, I saw you do a friend of mine, Jeff, and we're roughly the same age. And we were talking one day about album covers from like the 60s and the 70s. It'd basically just be like the band sitting on steps.
Yeah,
Simon and Garfunkel were always walking in on like a trail or in the park. And that's it. It's like, God, these are freaking boring. The Beatles would be standing in front of a door. It's like, God, put some creativity into it.
Do something.
Yeah. And then, of course, I think all that kind of changed in the 80s when stuff got a little more kind of new wavy and all that stuff. But I mean, even the back of this, you even put thought into the back of your first one.
I did. So, I for my second one, I didn't want to put any images on the back just because I wanted people to really focus on the track list. But on my terms, there's an insert slip when you open the album that like basically you can see the whole process of the album and how it was created.
Yeah, it's nice that you put everybody in there. So a lot of people don't do that.
I love it. So, I feel like I want to share everyone else who worked with it, because they deserve the spotlight too.
That's a good attitude to have. I think that will take you far, instead of just me. It's me. I'm the only one who needs to be on my album.
Yeah.
So all right, man. Well, then we'll wrap this up. So I'm gonna put some links down below, and this will be out next week. And I'll have those links up to hopefully, where they can get the album. And now, will these be through like a website? Will people be lucky to get them signed or anything like that?
Yes. So, I mean, everyone could go to my website, www.chrisivan.net, and All the merch will be in the Ivan merch store, and I could sign it. I could sign everything. Just make sure that if you are going to purchase something, check out correctly. Make sure that you give the right information. And you can find everything on www.chrisivan.net. The hats, the stickers, the beanies, the CDs, the digital album, the air fresheners. I mean, everything.
Yeah, and when people go there, or if they contact you, personally through Facebook or something, be nice,
Oh
be
yeah.
respectful,
Oh yeah.
you're a nice guy, and as I'm sure if somebody said, "Hey, how's it going? I like your album," you're not going to just ignore them. I would,
No.
hey, thanks, I really appreciate that, so just
I'm
be.
always on my phone.
Yeah, you respond quite quickly, so
Yeah.
unlike somebody we know named Joe, but that's okay. He's a busy man.
He's just, I know he's literally always fucking editing. Most people will message other people to talk to him, and then that's how they get in contact with them. It's crazy.
He's a multitasker. He's like multitasking. So
Yeah, literally.
yeah, people contact me and go, "Hey, I'm trying to get hold of Joe. Can you call me?" He doesn't return my messages, so
Eh,
he
Hey, he
does
doesn't.
eventually, but
Yeah, he's just busy.
yeah,
I
yeah.
tell everyone it's not personal.
No, at times, it takes all of us maybe a day or two to get back to people. It all depends on what
Yeah.
we're doing. So I decided to give Joe a hard time about it. So
Oh yeah.
so yeah, I look forward to his album coming out too, because yeah, he's got a good voice. So that should
I'm
be
excited.
I'll put his CD right next to your CD. So we'll have
Oh, thank you.
the Joe and Chris collection right there. So
Thank you.
sure, you're welcome. All righty. That's it.
All right.
So thank you everybody for watching. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Chris, once again for being on. I really appreciate it. And
Thank you for having me.
of course, and I wish you the best with the second CD and all that type of stuff. So and yeah, and I'll be seeing you on the 31st. So
Yes, on my
yes,
terms drops January 1st for the new year. And for a new vibe and a new change in life.
yep.
And hopefully I could give that to y'all with this album.
There you go. So please support the man, watch his videos and all that stuff. I'll put links up for all that. So it really helps with independent people. It's just not film that we're asking help for. It's also music. And
Yeah.
so people who do, musicians need help too, and they need support. So
Oh yeah.
please, check out those links below and show your support. So,
Yes.
all right. So I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Love
Thanks, Chris.
y'all.
Bye. Hey everybody, thanks for hanging out after the video, and thank you for watching the very first Dark Park Films sponsored video. And who is that sponsor? Well, I've now learned if I do this with my hands, they go to the right area. There we go. That would be Wildlife Command Center Coffee, and you can purchase it right there. You can go to their website, which is buyWCC.com, and pick up their coffee. They have 2 blends, which I'm going to show you now. The first coffee is this one right here. This is a breakfast blend. It's 10 ounces, and it is a medium ground. And it does say, and it's breakfast, like I said, and this is what it says right here. It says, early bird can catch the worm. So there you go, a breakfast blend coffee that helps you catch the worm in the morning. And I really like this one. I'm more of a breakfast kind of blend coffee guy in the morning. So this one I really like. It has that little bit of oomph to it to kind of get you moving, get you up and out. And so I really enjoy this one, but that doesn't mean that I don't like the other one, which is this one right here. This is a dark roast. It is also 10 ounces, and both of these are $7.99 at their website. pretty good price for 10 ounces worth of ground coffee. This one is, it's a little darker. So it's, I think it's better for drinking at night. Maybe if you're, writing a screenplay or if you're filming, this has got that oomph, oomph, that double punch to get you going. So this is one that I also recommend. I like both of these quite a bit, but I kind of do, the breakfast in the morning and then the dark more at night. So I recommend both of these quite a bit. And how did I find out about these two coffees here? And how did I find out about Wildlife Command Center? Well, when I was working on Night of the Zomghouls, there was a box of coffee that was just sitting there, filled with coffee. And we didn't know what to do with it. Like, whose is this? Who brought it? Why is it here? And so we just kept going to the store and buying coffee. And then one day I said, why don't we just get the coffee out of the box and use that instead of, wasting money on going to Smith's or whatever and picking up coffee. So we did. We did not realize that it was the Wildlife Command Center coffee and that it, was sponsoring the movie. And it was great coffee. Everybody loved it. And we just went right through it. By the last day of filming, this coffee was gone. And I went and found out, about Wildlife Command Center, asked if they would like to be a sponsor for Dark Park Films, for their coffee. As many of you know, I love coffee. I love coffee mugs. And so this was a perfect match. And Wildlife Command Center is great with animals. So they provide a great service for rescuing animals. So it's kind of that double whammy for me, where coffee, helping animals, you can't go wrong. And they were even cool enough to send me, get in there, a coffee mug, because they knew that I liked coffee mugs. And right now, I don't get that. That a little bit. I'm going to go on the keyboard, but that's their dark blend, because I'm recording this at night. So I am actually drinking that while recording. Also, one thing that you can get at their website, which is cool, is you can get this. There you go. This pocket knife, which is $9.49. And this is pretty cool because it has their name on it. Wildlife Command Center, we can catch it. And this is what it looks like. Put that down there. There we go. Fully out. So you're getting like the bottle opener, you got the corkscrew, you got a screwdriver, you got a blade, and then you got this little hook thing that you could pop it into something that doesn't have a tab, and then the liquid or whatever in there will come out. So this is pretty cool. And I'm just going to keep mine in my car, because you never know, you might need a pocket knife. So please support them. I'm going to have links down below, where you can, check out just the Wildlife Command Center. I'll also have a link for Wildlife Command Center coffee, and it will basically be for both these guys right here. And please support them. I support them. I think what they do is pretty awesome. And maybe this coffee will be on your set or in your kitchen. It will definitely be, on my set in my kitchen. I know that. So please, once again, I'm going to show you these. Please go to their website and pick up their coffee and make it part of your day or night, depending on which one you like. So that'll be about it. I really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me. And yeah, so thank you. And once again, please support my channel. Please support the Wildlife Command Center, and I will catch you later. Bye.